Hello, Zimbabwe and the world. Good morning to you. This is, of course, an update of what was happening on the grill, which comes on Classic 263 from a quarter past 7 to 8 o'clock. And of course, my guest this morning, where are Mr. Daniel Ngwira, who is a banker and columnist, and of course, Mr. Leonard Mandishara. He is the executive director of the National Association for Non-Governmental Organizations, NANGO. Now, gentlemen, today on the grill, we were focusing on the mantra by the finance minister, which is austerity for prosperity, and it has actually caught on positively, negatively on the market. I will start with you, Daniel. Um, Austerity measures. The president says there's no going back. We are going for austerity. But why austerity? And who should be austere?
All right, Tawanda, first and foremost, everybody should bear austerity. Why austerity is because we cannot continue the way we've been going. When you look at the twins that the minister has referred to, the budget deficit and the trade deficit, you realize that the trade deficit drives money supply, your broad money supply, your N3, and the money supply drives inflation. It also drives the exchange rates on the alternative markets, which we know, by the way, that a number of economic players have been playing there so that they sustain themselves. Then the current account deficit, we need to make sure we conserve the foreign exchange that we are generating so that again we don't we live within our means, and also we don't upset the because it also the trade deficit affects the exchange rates. The more you import, it means the more your exchange rate becomes weaker and weaker, and a weaker exchange rate in our case, where people have been working with the times for the rate, it means you are dividing your income by four, you are dividing your balance sheet by four. So everybody must be able to.
But the argument, Leonard, is that the rate issue, currency issues will still remain a challenge because now you hear, for example, the minister imposing that import duty for vehicles be charged in forex. That certainly creates a demand, doesn't it? And pushing the rate even further, debilitating the income, which already is scarce on the part of the ordinary Zimbabwean.
Yeah. Okay, that's very true, because I think what was supposed to happen, if you also look into the budget, where the minister was talking about the issue of complementarity between the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. So what it means is that I think the minister, if he was serious in terms of addressing the debilitating economic challenges that we are facing as a nation, he was supposed to put in place a measure that is, that was supposed to deal with this aspect of the one-to-one, between the US dollar and the bond note. I think we need to come to a point where we say, guys, is this really working? Because you can't continue to say US dollar is equivalent to the bond note, while we know that it's not the real outing in terms of what is happening even across the other fronts. And now, like the question that you're talking about, it is also confirmation that the bond is not equivalent to the US dollar. If the minister is saying import duty is supposed to be paid in foreign currency, so it's also a point that is also taking cognizance of the disparities that exist between those two currencies.
But who should bear the brand? Before I come to you, Daniel, who should bear the brand coming from your perspective?
Yeah, because now that's what our argument to say. When these policies were being introduced, we engaged the policymaker to say this policy direction that you're taking is not going to work, right? So if they'd heed the calls from that moment, it means some of the challenges we are facing today, we're not going to be facing this challenge. Now, the public is now bearing the brand in terms of the bad policies which are being implemented by the government. That's the irony that we are facing here.
But Daniel, you say that everyone should bear the brand and we should be patriotic. In your recent article, you spoke about patriotism saving the Zimbabwean economy.
Yeah, Tawanda, patriotism it simply means you love your country. You know, that's what it means, and you would not do anything that would hurt your country. So the pricing regime we have seen in the markets demonstrate that there is lack of patriotism amongst the economic players, i.e., water, which I think the major one of the components of water which is important is the container. But that water then goes on to sell for $1.50, $2. Right. What should happen is that businessmen or companies should increase the price, or rather the cost of this goods by the import component only. So you find that where water was costing 30 cents, it could end up costing 45 cents or 50 cents. Right. But you can't say because I'm importing a bottle of the bottle, therefore let it be times three. It doesn't make sense. Then I need to answer something. The, the minister is not seeking to raise foreign currency through duty or VAT. No. He's simply trying to discourage people from importing so that we conserve foreign currency. Number one. Number two, on value-added tax. Value-added tax, companies collect as agents of government. Now, as an agent of government, they were collecting in foreign currency and going to the black market, promoting the black market. So the minister simply said, okay, you have collected VAT in whatever currency of trade, give it to me. I'm the principal. It's an economic principle. The agent's problem is an economic principle. Wherein we saw the principal, who is the minister, is saying that, okay, people are promoting the pyro market, which I don't want, so give me the foreign currency which you have collected. So, you see, so he's not trying to say no, it's not 1:1. They have said it's 1:1 because they want to preserve values. That's what they're trying to do.
But market forces always determine value,
Yeah.
as it were. Should we see the minister locking value by insisting that it's 1:1, or at some point he has to devalue the bond note?
Because like what you're saying from experience, that has never worked even in Zimbabwe. There was a time, like during those hyperinflationary environment where we had a pegged exchange rate, which ultimately uh, uh, ended up creating more challenges than good to the economy. So this is the same scenario that we're even here. It's not a new thing. If we know that this thing doesn't work, why are we not just coming out clear to say, guys, we have just to float the exchange, like what you're saying, so that market forces determine, the prices between or the exchange rate. I think that is the best possible option that I feel the minister was supposed to take, or to outright, like what you said previously, I'm going to assess to outrightly deal with the bond issue, which brought distortion into the market system. Even like what you were talking about in terms of when the minister is saying we want people to pay duty in foreign currency, and they're doing that to discourage, importation of what is called non-productive, goods and services, and targeting what the motor vehicle industry. For me, I think it's also not a good move. Why? If you look at the generality of the people that you are looking at here, what we are successfully doing is to increase the expanse between the poor and the rich. Because what we have also experiencing now, we have in what you call it the middle income class, who are also able to go and buy vehicles to so that at least they can move from point A to point B. So when the minister is now saying those people who have that opportunity to go and buy vehicles, say from Japan or South Africa, and now are supposed to pay what in foreign currency, it means we are now removing the middle income people, and by so doing we are increasing the gap between the poor and the rich. So I think this budget was supposed to also take into cognizance some of those consequences that they are also bringing to the economy, to say what is going to happen even for even the public service officials that we have, and our transport system, how is it also functional? So those are the critical questions that we need also to answer in terms of this budget. Is it addressing those fundamental issues?
I'll give you just to wrap up now.
I believe in market forces. Leonard spoke of perhaps the minister might have taken too much to swallow. But this is what I think, or rather, which I would recommend. I think the minister is fully aware that there is need to float the exchange rates. But perhaps this was a way of sequencing, because if you float the exchange rate when your budget deficit and your current account deficit is high, it's a recipe for disaster. So how do you do it? You try to fix what you can fix, i.e. the twin deficits. Then you float. You will then find that the exchange rate becomes manageable. That's what I think this gentlemen are trying to do.
Gentlemen, so much to talk about,
Yes.
but thank you so much. It has really been a
Yeah.
fruitful discussion, and obviously on Classic 263, we will continue picking up on some of those key issues affecting the nation. So, those were my guests on the grill this morning as we're focusing on austerity for prosperity. What does it mean and the impact that it has on the market? My name is Tawanda Gudhlanga.